I still remember the exact moment everything in my life quietly started falling apart, even though at the time I thought it was just another normal day. It was during the pandemic when everyone was stuck inside because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Our condo building felt like a closed world. No going out, no normal social life, just strict rules and the same faces every day. The only place we were allowed to breathe outside was the small pool area in the building. That pool became our daily routine, almost like a small escape from a life that suddenly became too small. It was always the same setup. I would sit by the pool, phone pressed to my ear, talking to my boyfriend. My friend would be nearby, also on her phone, talking to her husband who was working overseas. And my cousin, she was always there too, the only single one in the group. At first, she just felt like she was observing us, watching me giggle on calls, watching my friend smile while talking to her husband. Sometimes she would joke about how everyone here is in love except me, but we all laughed it off. It felt harmless, familiar, safe, until one day she started focusing on something different. She began asking questions about my boyfriend's friends, casual at first, like jokes, then more specific, then persistent. "Does your boyfriend have a single friend?" she asked one afternoon while we were at the pool. I laughed. "Why?" She shrugged, "Just asking. Maybe I can meet someone." A few days later, she brought it up again, and again, until it became constant enough that it didn't feel like a joke anymore, so eventually I gave in. I told my boyfriend, and he laughed it off and said, sure, he had a single friend. That was it. My cousin got his number through him. I didn't think anything of it. It felt like a harmless connection, like one of those pandemic cura setups where everyone was just trying to feel less alone during lockdown. And then something changed. Suddenly, my cousin was always on her phone, just like me, just like my friend. What used to be quiet observation turned into her having her own phone boyfriend situation. She would smile at messages, walk a bit away sometimes, and act like she was now part of the same little world we were all living in. I even remember thinking, good for her. She finally has someone to talk to. But I didn't notice the details yet. Not the timing. Not the patterns. Not what was actually happening. One day, my boyfriend and I had a disagreement. It wasn't even something huge at first, just a misunderstanding that slowly escalated through messages. We stopped talking after that. No calls, no replies. Silence stretched for days, and I felt the distance more than I expected to. Eventually, we made up. It felt like relief washed over everything again. I thought that was the end of it. Just a normal couple fight during a stressful time. So, life went back to normal, back to the pool, back to our routine. That day, I was on the phone with him again, sitting in our usual spot. The sun was reflecting off the water, and everything looked ordinary. My friend was also there, talking to her husband like usual. My cousin was scrolling on her phone when suddenly she looked up and shouted across the pool area, loud enough for all of us to hear, "Where is your friend? My phone boyfriend isn't calling me. I miss him." She laughed after saying it like it was nothing, like it was just a playful complaint. My boyfriend on the other end of the call heard it and laughed too. And then he said casually, almost jokingly, "Give the phone to her." I didn't hesitate. I trusted him. I trusted her. I thought it was just friendly conversation between people in the same circle. So I handed my phone to my cousin. That's when something small happened, something I only understood much later. She didn't just stay where we were, she stepped back, a few steps at first, then further, far enough that we couldn't hear her voice anymore. She turned slightly away from us, holding my phone, and started talking in a lower tone. At that exact moment, I remember thinking it was just privacy. Maybe she felt shy. Maybe she wanted space. Nothing alarming. Nothing worth questioning. But looking back now, that distance meant everything. Because from that point on, things started to feel different. Even if I didn't fully understand why yet, my boyfriend started acting slightly different in subtle ways. My cousin started smiling at messages at odd times. There were moments where conversations felt connected in ways they shouldn't have been. But I ignored all of it. I told myself I was overthinking, that it was just coincidence, that everything was normal. Until one day, our friend told me something that changed everything. It happened when I wasn't around. She and my cousin were talking, and somehow the topic slipped out. At first, she didn't want to tell me. She said she felt uncomfortable interfering. But eventually, guilt won over her silence. She told me that my cousin wasn't really just talking to the phone boyfriend she claimed to have. She was mostly talking to my boyfriend. My stomach dropped when I heard it. At first, I refused to believe it. It didn't make sense in my head. I kept replaying everything, every pool day, every laugh, every time my cousin stepped away with my phone, every time she insisted on certain things that I brushed off. And suddenly, everything aligned in the worst possible way. The reason she needed distance when she spoke to him wasn't privacy, it was secrecy. I confronted my boyfriend after that. I needed to hear it directly. At first, he denied it, then he stayed quiet. That silence said more than any excuse could. Eventually, he admitted everything, that they started talking after she got his number, that it wasn't just casual anymore, that it turned into something he hid from me. I remember not even crying right away. I just felt blank, like my brain couldn't process it fast enough to turn it into emotion. After that day, I stopped speaking to my cousin completely. No argument, no explanation. Just distance that replaced everything we used to have. Life still moved forward after that, but nothing felt the same. The condo pool that used to feel like a safe space now felt like a reminder of everything I missed. Every routine we used to share became a memory I couldn't look at the same way. Later on, life continued in a way that felt almost unreal. They stayed together for a while. Eventually, they even had a child. For a moment, it looked like everything that happened somehow led them to a new life together, but it didn't last. They eventually broke up, and the reason was something I never expected when everything started. Because my cousin, the same person who once took my trust and my relationship, ended up cheating on him too. She got pregnant by another guy, and when I heard that part, I didn't feel satisfaction. I didn't feel revenge. I just felt this strange realization that everything that happened didn't actually lead anywhere stable. It just repeated itself in a different form. And now, when I think back to that pool, to that phone call, to that moment I handed over my phone without hesitation, I realized how something so ordinary can quietly become the beginning of something you never see coming. Because sometimes, betrayal doesn't start loudly. Sometimes it starts with laughter. At a pool, during a time when the world itself already felt like it was falling apart,